Well, hello everybody, happy April. I'm so excited to have you guys all here to do this March reading wrap up of all the books that we read here in March. I have 9 books that we've read and we have 4,749 pages that we read. A lot of those books were part of the Twilight series. I have a whole video on it you guys can go and watch where I give all my thoughts where I was rereading them, but a lot of those books, there's 6 of them in total with the novella and Midnight Sun. All of them except for the novella were over 400 pages. Most of them were over 500 pages. So quite a lot of books that we read, a lot of content was consumed, and I'm so excited to talk to you guys all about them and to give you my thoughts. I also have a really exciting book mail update, and I have a book journal update. We'll be doing a little bit of my book journaling as well because the spreads we have for this month, they're the best ones I've ever done, honestly. And I know that they still need a lot of work, but I'm really proud of myself to show you guys everything. So let's go ahead and get started. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I make mostly book content, at least that's where I'm kind of starting to lean more towards. So it's been a lot of fun. I'd love to have you be a part of the fam. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So in one of my recent book thrifting videos, I'll link those below if you guys are interested, but I found these books from the DI, the Hunger Games series. This one is definitely, like, this was Hunger Games, so this one's Mockingjay. This one is definitely like ruined. Like there's tons of like paint and stuff all over it, but I still think it's kind of a cool aesthetic, and I got them both for $3, but I could not find the middle one, Catching Fire. So I ended up ordering it off of eBay, and I think this is it. I'm hoping this is it. It was only $6, so still a really, really good deal, and it's in these kind of really cool like editions that I've never seen before, which I really like. Oh, yay! This is what it looks like. It looks so nice. Now I have the full trilogy all together now. That's so fun. I love that they're all the same color and the same, like they just all, you know, just look so good together. So now we have that. That's a fun little book mail piece. I'm kind of wondering maybe I can do something to try to get this paint or whatever this is off of here. I think it's like acrylic paint, so you could probably try it. Anyway, that's that. That's some fun book mail, but now we'll go ahead and get started on all of the books that we have, or that I have read for this month. So let's start with this one right here. So this is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I decided to read this. I actually had it, like I had the book physically a couple of months ago and I just never got around to reading it, so I ended up returning it back to the library. But I decided to get it again mainly because Haley Pham did a video where she read Taylor Swift's most talked about books, or most like popular books that she has read, and this was one of them. And this book is about a woman who we don't actually ever find out what her name is, but it's written from her point of view. She is hired as a companion or like a helper for this older lady, and this lady is very rich and they travel all over and they stay at this hotel where she meets this man named Max. And Max and this woman become really good friends. Her boss ends up actually getting sick, and so she stays in the hotel room all day long. So she goes out and starts hanging out with Max, becomes friends, and eventually they decide to go ahead and get married. So she leaves her former employer behind and they move to Manderley, where he lives in this giant mansion, beautiful home somewhere in England, and she cannot escape the ghost, essentially, of his late wife. Rebecca is her name, and Rebecca's just everywhere. Like, she's not really an actual ghost, but she just can't escape her. Rebecca's always talked about, everyone's comparing her to Rebecca. She's very, very young, this woman in the book, and her husband Max is quite older than her, so everyone's just she's just feeling very, very overwhelmed by everything. And Rebecca actually, you know, everyone thought that she had died and they had buried the body, but then they actually ended up finding the boat that Rebecca drowned on, and they find her body, and so then they are trying to figure out what happened, if she actually died via drowning, if she died by suicide or by murder. So very, very interesting book. I really would recommend it. I think I gave this 3 stars. It was a little hard for me to follow, but overall still a really, really good book, and I would definitely recommend it. The next book that we have is Funny You Should Ask. This is by Eliza Sussman, and this book is actually so cute. First off, I love how this like looks. I just think it looks adorable, but I love this book because it's kind of written in kind of in flashback. So it starts at like one time period now versus then, which then was 10 years ago. And it's about a reporter who interviews a huge movie star 10 years ago. They have a whirlwind of a weekend, and then they never see each other again for 10 years. And 10 years passes, and he is now requesting her to be the one who interviews him again for this giant movie. He's gone through a lot of hardships. She's gone through a lot of hardships. And of course there's a romance storyline in here, and it's just really, really cute. I read it in probably 2 days. It's a really short book. It's like 340 pages, but like you can just fly through it so fast. Just a cute, typical little romance. I rated this 3 stars. I thought it was really cute. Can I remember like the people's names? I remember the guy's name was Gay Parker. I think her name was Chani. I'm not sure. I would say nothing quite too spicy. Actually, there was, I think, like towards the very end, a little bit of a spicier chapter where they are intimate. I hate saying that word, but you know what I mean. But you can always skip that part if you don't want to read it. I think I skipped it. I think it was just like a couple of pages, and then you can just skip through it. So, I know. This is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J Maas. This is the not the final book, but it is the most recently released book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I believe there's gonna be one more. First off, it's like 700 pages. It's huge. And it is from the viewpoint of Nesta, who is the sister of Feyre, who is the original like viewpoint that you get through the first 3 books of the series. And this is, you know, this book is definitely very, very, very spicy. I only was reading it because I wanted to like continue on in the series, but I don't know if the other books are going to be like this, which I don't know if they will be because I think they're supposed to be from Elaine's point of view. But if they're like this, I'm not going to keep reading it because that was just, it's unnecessary. Like, it's unnecessary. Like, why do you need to put so much explicit content in a book that's supposed to be about this beautiful fantasy land? Like, I don't want to hear about all your escapades with this guy. You know, I really don't. So I think I rated this 2 stars. No, I rated it 3 stars because the actual content, besides all the explicit stuff, is quite good. I mean, you really start to feel for Nesta. At least I started to feel for Nesta. I like actually started to feel bad for her and kind of want to cheer her on. It's definitely very like woman/female empowering, which I really enjoyed. So overall, not my favorite. I would not really recommend reading it if you're not into that kind of stuff at all. So unfortunately, this is like the worst book I think I read this month, which is kind of sad. But you know, at the same time, somebody has to be the worst book. And unfortunately, it was just this one. So there's that. Again, I'm not really sure if I want to continue the series now because of this. So we'll kind of see. We'll keep a marker out for that. But also the 6th book isn't even written yet. So who knows what will happen. All right, are we ready for this? I don't know if we're ready for this. Once again, I have the Twilight series that I read. Again, there's a video, I'll link it down below, of me reading and like kind of reacting to it for the first time in my adult life. And I have to say this first Twilight book is actually my least favorite. I rated this one 3 stars. I think the reason why I rated this 3 stars is because it was really hard for me in this book to kind of get past, like I was having a hard time with the characters from the movie versus how they're described in here. I feel like in here they're described, I mean, they're described similar to how they look in the movie, but I just feel like they're definitely more beautiful in this one. I think the characters in the movie just don't quite line up exactly how I was hoping them to look like, which I get that they're like these mythical creatures, so you can't really find that in real life. But yeah, unfortunately, this one was just not quite my favorite. I also just felt like because this is the shortest book out of all of the books in the series, I have a hard time like kind of following the storyline because she doesn't quite go into detail. I mean, it goes from 0 to 100 so fast. One day she's just curious about these people and the next day she's in love with them. Like, that does not make sense. She just doesn't have enough time, I feel like, to go through the storyline. Like, she didn't explore all the storylines quite in as in-depth as she could have. Now, in another book later, I'll explain that you kind of get a better view of this, so it makes a lot more of this a little bit more understandable. But yeah, not quite my favorite book, unfortunately, out of the Twilight series. I also just feel like you can really tell the immaturity of Bella in this book. It just, yeah, not a lot of things made sense in this book. I can't believe that because of that, this book, like, everyone went insanely crazy. I mean, I did go insanely crazy with the rest of the books. For example, New Moon is absolutely amazing. Like, I thought the rest of these books were so good. So I'm just kind of surprised that this one, for me, did not hit the mark. But as for New Moon, this one I ranked 4 stars. I think I liked this one a lot better, mainly because Jacob was in it more and Edward was in it way less, which I know sounds kind of bad, but I just really could not get over Bella and Edward in this book. I just thought it was so terrible. I thought it was so toxic, and I also, again, just could not get Robert Pattinson out of my head, which I did not, no offense, I did not like him as Edward, okay? I'm sorry, I did not like him. So it was just hard for me to like get past that in here, whereas in here, come on, Taylor Lautner is kind of cute, you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of fun to have him more in my mind in this one. I really liked exploring Bella and Jacob's friendship in this one as well. Unfortunately, we do again see just these snap decisions. You know, hasn't seen or talked to Edward in months and months and months, and then one day she just gets in the car with Alice and they fly across the world to Italy to save him. And I get, you know, she's, you know, they're soulmates or whatever, but I feel like if you're an actual 17-year-old girl, you're not gonna do that. Like, you're not going to. It doesn't really quite make sense. A little unrealistic, but still a really good book. Now with Eclipse I love as well. This one I also ranked 4 stars. I'd probably rank it 4.5 stars if I could. This one I think is my absolute favorite out of all the series. I just really love, you know, you kind of see the future start to kind of form here a little bit. You see Edward promise that he would change Bella himself if they were married and they get engaged, and, you know, they decide, you know, agree to get married, and you also see them really like start to come, like he wants to go fight these newborn vampires to help his family to save Bella, and she does not want him to do it. And you see him actually listen to her, which I love. I love that she was like, I don't want you to go out there. I want you to stay with me. And that he listened to her. I really, really, really hated the whole love triangle thing that we see in this book. This one, yeah, I just didn't understand. Like, I just feel like, why did we have to do that? It's too late in the game. Sorry, Jacob, it's too late in the game. I'm glad that we didn't quite go as into too much detail as she could. She probably could have really explored that love triangle and made everyone super frustrated. Super glad that, you know, she didn't do that, but I just thought it was a little weird and really frustrating for me, at least. Then we have Breaking Dawn. This one I ranked 5 stars. I know that I said that this one was my favorite, but this one I just think you can't beat. I loved it so much. I also love this movie, or the 2 movies that came from this so much. Definitely the biggest book, and you see them getting married, you see them having a baby, you see them, you know, the imprinting that happens. There's a lot of stuff that happens in this book, which is wild, but it's so good. I think it was a great way to like finish out the series, and yeah, I just absolutely loved it. I think it was a really, really cute book, and this is what made me just such a Twihard. Like, I just fell in love with this series so much that I was like printing out pictures of them. I was listening to the soundtrack of the music of the movie because the music is so good. So absolutely fell in love with these books. They're just, I know that a lot of people hate them, but I just think they're so good, and they actually have more than just these 4 books out. The Short Second Life of Bree Tanner is a super cute novella. It is from the viewpoint of one of the newborn vampires. Her name is Bree Tanner. She's one of the newborn vampires created in Eclipse. So you don't really get any of her viewpoint at all, really, in here. You kind of get a tiny little bit, but you get more of her story in here, and you also get a little bit of her story in the movie, just a tiny little bit of her story in the movie as well. So I really enjoyed this little novella from her perspective. The audiobook for this is 4 hours, so I read it and listened to it very, very, very quickly. But yeah, super, super cute. I'm gonna give this one 4 stars as well. I wish that there was more of these, honestly. I wish that we could kind of get more perspective from other people, at least in the series. But one thing that we do get in this series that was released just a couple of years ago is the book Midnight Sun. This is basically, or this is the book Twilight, but it is from Edward's perspective, which honestly, I loved this one a lot. She wrote this one around the same time as the Twilight series, because when they were filming the movies, she actually let Robert Pattinson read some of this, so that way he could kind of get into the headspace of what Edward really was thinking, which honestly, reading this helped it helped Twilight just make so much more sense. Like, it really did, because you really got to see what he was thinking, what, you know, where he was coming from, what everyone else was thinking as well, like his siblings, what they could do with their powers. So it was really, really interesting. I really did enjoy this book. I would love it if she would write the rest of them from his perspective as well. I don't think she will, but I would love it if she did, just because it was so fun just to see a different perspective from everything. Because again, you know, Bella's this like 17-year-old girl. He's like this 100-year-old man living in a 17-year-old body. So it was just really fun to be able to like kind of see that a little bit and to see his viewpoint from things. It definitely kind of, in my mind, made things a little less toxic. and just help things make a little bit more sense. So 100% would recommend reading this. 100% would recommend reading the entire Twilight series. Again, I just fell in love with it. I became a total Twihard. I have all of the books now except for the novella and this one. These ones are from the library. If I ever find them when I'm thrifting, I will 100% buy. This will be an auto buy purchase for me. And I really want to read more of Stephenie Meyer's work. She has 2 other ones, The Host and The Chemist, which got pretty popular as well. And then she kind of just stopped writing books. I mean, she got so rich and famous off of these ones that she didn't need to really worry about it anymore, I feel like. So I would love it if she wrote more, especially if she wrote more of this series. I believe that they are making a TV series, or at least they were in talks a couple of years ago about making a TV series about Twilight. So then you can kind of go more in depth of it, and I would absolutely love it so much if they actually did that. I think that'd be so great. So we'll see what happens, but 100% recommend these. And that is it. That is all of the books that we read for March. So again, 9 books, 6 of them were the Twilight series, and then the other 3 were just kind of more random books that I got to, which that's okay, we absolutely love. But now we need to go and finish working on my book journal. So let me show you guys what we have so far. I've been trying to kind of keep up with this a little bit more, so that way I'm not waiting until the last like week or so of March to start working on this. But again, we have our March title page, which we made in my last video, or my last monthly reset video. And then we have our Twilight pages, which I think they look so good. So this one's just Twilight. I went ahead and like cut things out. I have each book covers 2 pages, but I like really like wrote a ton of stuff in. I have quotes, I got the ratings, I got pictures of them in there. So that's what the first Twilight one looks like. And then for New Moon, we have this. So let me take these out. This is what New Moon looks like. So we got the ratings again. I learned how to draw this motorcycle, which is not perfect by any means, but I mean, come on, that's pretty good. So yeah, that's what New Moon looks like. We also have Eclipse here. That's what this one looks like. So it looks really, really good. I think it looks good, at least in my opinion. And then we have Breaking Dawn. So I need to go in and fill this one out. I started with the rating, but I haven't filled the stars in or even made the stars yet. And then we need to fill it in with a little recap and synopsis. But we do have the short Second Life of Bree Tanner. This one, I just kept it to 1 page. I think it looks cute as well. And then we have Midnight Sun, which we have the wording, you know, we have the title on, but we don't have anything else written. And we don't have anything else written for the other 3 books. So that's what we're gonna focus on for the rest of today. We're gonna go and just quickly fill out, well, I don't know how quick it'll be, but we'll go fill out Breaking Dawn, fill out Midnight Sun, add in all the fun paper and pictures and everything, and then we'll finish the rest of the book journal, and then I'll show you guys how it looks at the end. So I'm really excited because I think it's gonna look really good. Again, I think these ones look like way better than any of my other spreads. Like, they just look so cool compared to the spreads I was doing at the beginning of the month, which were just, or at the beginning of the year, which they were still cute, but you know, these ones definitely look way better.
Burning down these walls.
So my March spreads are all completed now. I'm so excited to show you guys because I think they look so adorable. So once again, here's our March cover page. And then we have, again, our Twilight pages. So I think these just look really cool. I've copied these all basically, well, not copied them word for word, but I copied the idea kind of from Pinterest, which is where I get a lot of my inspiration for my book journal. So we have the Twilight page, which was just a regular page. And then we have New Moon, which, you know, looks exactly the same as I last showed you because we didn't change anything here. And then we have Eclipse. I really like how this all turned out as well. I kind of wish I would have been able to put something like kind of fun in the middle, but couldn't think of anything. And so we just added in a little quote right here, and along with all the pictures, which I think is fun. And then we have Breaking Dawn. So, you know, nothing too crazy here. I just, you know, wrote out my thoughts, my feelings, tried to kind of label some of these. That way I remembered kind of who was who, even though I'm not going to forget anytime soon, but just thought it was kind of fun. And then we have The Short Second Life of Bree Tanner. So nothing really too crazy here. Again, just kept it pretty simple since it was such a short book. And then we have Midnight Sun, which Midnight Sun was its, you know, huge book, but because I already did a huge spread on Twilight, I wanted to keep this one pretty simple. So we just have some pictures of him, of Edward, and then also of him and Alice because I love Alice's role in this book. And then I also added a pomegranate because that is what the front of the book, the cover is, of pomegranate. So there is that page. I think it turned out fine. I definitely I like these pages better, but we did what we could with the time we had. And then we move on to Rebecca. So Rebecca, again, was one of the books that I read that kind of was more in like the Regency era. So I tried to keep it a little bit more Regency style. Don't necessarily love it, but again, it's done. What's done is done. So we have that. And then we have A Court of Silver Flames. I ended up finding some funny stickers in one of my sticker packs that had, like this one has A Court of Thorns and Roses on it. So it's in the same series. And then also added in a little quote down here with some fun stickers. So I thought that was kind of fun. And I really don't hate this. I definitely don't love it, but we did what we could with it. So there is that page. And then we have Funny You Should Ask, which I tried to keep this really fun, bright and pink since the cover is also very, very bright and pink and kind of fun. Almost like a comic book style, which is why I tried to kind of make it look a little bit comic book-ish. But yeah, I thought it was really cute. I love all the fun stickers on it. Again, this is just another sticker pack that I got from Amazon that's just all pink related. So I might try to find something pink to maybe put down here. But that is that for this month. I haven't made an April cover page yet, but that will go on here. You guys, I'm sure, will see it very soon. But yeah, that is that for the book journal, and that is that for the reading wrap-up video. If you guys made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate every single one of you for being here and for supporting me on this reading journey, and I will see you all in my next video very soon. Bye!